So when Mars cuts away people in your life that you're not sure you want to be in a connection with anymore, then for some reason those separations, timeouts, or cutting apartness energy is good. It's something that's needed at this time. Hello, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising Sign. This is the month of September 2026 astrology forecast for you. And I'm going to tell you, it feels like you can't wait for some of the pressure to let up that you've been feeling ever since August when Mars moved into the sign of Cancer. Some of your relationships have been fraught with tension and unease. A lot of emotions may have been running high. Don't worry, by the end of this month, you have a change of perspective and a little lightness there. Lots of pressure going on by the Lord of your sign from last month into this month about whether or not you want to stay put. There's a chance some of you are thinking of a new home, a new place to live, maybe even a rental property. Good news is we have some beautiful sky trines this month ahead that's going to allow you to really step forward into a part of life that represents work, money, and prosperity, career. We'll get that all down to the details week by week as we go through the month of September. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back to my regulars. My name is definitely Lori Lothian, and this is a Western tropical channel, not sidereal or Vedic. And if you're new here, welcome to the introduction of my courses. If you go to lorilothian.com, you'll see that this September, I'm teaching my Sky Reader every year. I do this in the fall, in September. This is 7 weeks long live boot camp with me, with 6 guest teachers teaching extra bonus topics and Q&As weekly, and a Facebook group and a Discord group to meet other students. It's not here to certify you to become an astrologer, but to take you from 0 to 100 to learn to read your own natal sky, so to learn to read the map of time that astrology is in your chart, and to use this as a navigational tool in life so that you can move with the flow and not against it. Curious and interested to learn to read your own sky? Come check it out. It indeed might be my last season teaching this particular class, and it is a kind of a prerequisite-ish to come to join me in next year's map maker and also codebreaker courses. You'll need to have those under your belt. All right, so guys, and in the description box below is information about this September course, and at the end of the video you will actually see a little me wandering through the back end of the website talking about it as well. So you're a Capricorn, you're stubbornly mirthful, and you're a sea goat, and you are very resourceful, and I love Capricorns so very much. Actually, I have a lot of you in my life, but I want to say that this month is going to extend what began last month. And if you've ever felt like really battered down or debilitatingly challenged in your significant long-term love relationships, clients, audience, business partnership connections, this might be a story that you have been familiar with lately. You know, Mars is a planet that likes to cut, separate, and divide, and often all he does is take a pair of scissors and snip. And Mars entered into, on August the 11th, your 7th house of committed business and love partnerships, and he does not leave until September 27th, 28th. So it kind of means you're coming into the month a little battered, a little worn down, and it may be about committed love relationships. Tends to be that Mars will separate people, even just because you and your spouse, for example, are traveling in different places and you spend less time together. But it can also bring emotional tension into your life, particularly when it comes to people that you're in a relationship with. And because of Saturn retrograde, as we enter this month, and he'll be retrograde till December 10th, and you know, you will find that as you go through the month of September, and it may have even begun in August 11th, that relationship partners from your past have returned to you for investigation, conversation, communication, and maybe sorting out some of the dirty laundry from the past. So that backdrop aside, I'm going to show you the chart. We're going to go week by week. Don't forget, when you like and you subscribe and you hit that notification bell, you help the channel grow. Remember, also, hyping is good. This is general bell curve astrology, and you can, not your personal chart reading. It's going to somewhat work for everyone, but of course it's not exactly your chart. And also you can listen for your sun, moon, and rising, and my amazing editor Stella will somewhere in this video pop up the little introduction to the various ways to listen, sun, moon, and rising, and what they actually mean. Whoa, all right, so let's get story time going. Everyone settle in with a cup of tea or a glass of wine or whatever floats your old cocktail boat, And let's go forward. Hello, guys. You always ask me, rising sign, sun, or moon. How do I listen to this thing in astrology? Well, your sun is who you really are. Think of it about your spiritual essence, your divine light, the flame of your soul that lives forever, takes on a body, and that body is the ascendant. You might think of your sun sign like the actor who plays the role in the movie. Your sun is the real you, and the role you're playing in the movie, well, that's your rising sign. You tend to look like that sign. You tend to act like the personhood of that character in the simulation. It is not your real self, but you need a vehicle for your spirit to express. And when we look at your moon sign, we think about how you feel and think about life, your happiness, your emotional blueprint, your subjective well-being. But you remember the moon is only reflecting the light of the spiritual essence of you, the sun. So therefore, it's a temporary aspect or an operating system for your consciousness. I see a lot of the time that people's moon sign is really useful when you want to see how you're going to feel about this sky, but it also connects you very strongly to energies of home, safety, nest, and mother. The moon is that stuff to do with the nurturant part of reality. When we talk about your sun sign, it can be father related material, but also connections to your purpose and career. For your soul isn't here, it's on planet Earth to do something, right? And we usually call that a purpose of some kind. And lastly, the ascendant, very sensitive to your body, very sensitive to the fates and the circumstances of life. That is where your rising sign is, how you showed up, took the first breath of life. What was the sign on the eastern horizon at the time of birth? That's what the rising sign is. And it's very accurate for delineating astrology, at least until the age of mid-40s. And we begin to move back into our true self, into our solar energy. And we'll notice that our sun sign becomes as accurate or can be more and more actively useful for prediction. Already, sometimes you'll look at children for the first 7 years and they're operating primarily on sun sign energy. So when you're looking at your kids, definitely listen for their sun sign over their rising sign. All right, guys, here's that short form. Take it away. Let's go into the chart ahead. You are here. This is your sign. This is ascendant in, that's your glyph, Capricorn, sea goat. And if you were thinking about your sun or moon, we just pretend your sun is here or your moon is here. We move your Cappy moon and sun to the first house and we say these things are happening X number of houses from the sun, X number of houses from the moon. It's called derived houses. So what I would say for you right away is what I already mentioned. Mars has been here since August the 11th in your 7th house. Saturn, of course, is retrograding in your 4th house. This tension can be very much like domestic tension with a love partner. It could be partners from the past coming back for reinvestigation, maybe cleaning up, tying up loose ends, but also there's just a sense of grit here. And as we begin the month of September, you're coming off of what was before this time, August the 26th or so, okay? Through to the first 2 to 3 days of September, there is a lot of tension in your sky between your spousal type relationships, business partners, sometimes your audience and marketplace, and matters connected to your childhood, family of origin, home and homeland, or just your place of where you live. And I've often noticed when Mars is here, sometimes we also want to change where we live because he's broadly in a square to the house of property. So some of you might be thinking about moving under this kind of sky. And one thing I'll say is that Mars here only wants to cut out the gangrene, right? You gotta take the gangrene limb off. You gotta cut out the dead wood in a bush, a rose bush, to prune it back to make it healthy, right? To make it grow. So when Mars cuts away people in your life that you're not sure you want to be in a connection with anymore, then for some reason those separations, timeouts, or cutting apartness energy is good. It's something that's needed at this time. And so Mars is not in great shape, though. He's debilitated. So watch for overly emotional, significant others, either raging, attacking, blaming, crying, moping, whatever. Mars is very emotional here in the sign of Cancer. And that is something to watch for continuing through till the 28th of September. When I see this energy coming into the beginning of the month from the last 4 or 5 days of September, I think a lot of you, it's kind of like frustration, fallen Saturn. You might not really be feeling really good about your past relationships, place where you're currently living. You're really revising, rethinking, and revisioning where you want to actually live and with whom you wish to live. And so there's a lot going on for you, and my heart goes out to you for that. But the very first thing I see is Mercury supporting Mars on September the 1st. Mercury, he's right here, and he's looking over at Mars and going, well, stop pushing me already. And Mars says, I have to push. That's my job. But Mercury is in his home kingdom, and he's really dignified. So he's not taking any SHIT for Mars. And it's about something connected to foreign people, foreign lands, foreign shores, or long distance foreign travel, maybe even things connected to father figures or even educational situations. Now, the pushing here is a relational house. So are there relationships that you're involved with significant love partners from foreign lands and shores or distant places, like literally a foreign or another country? Then Mars is making a case for something here. Mercury is about communication. This could be also communication that you're going to get a contract, a legal agreement from a foreigner or from an educational institution. But there is Mars's push for Mercury to deliver the news to you. So look for some interesting news the last day of August and the first day of September. And there can be some news about legal matters that involve lawyers and legal matters between couples, separation agreements, spousal support, alimony, and those sorts of things, and some kind of legal judgment in terms of legal contracts that is actually going to be favorable for you. So you're looking for that again, the very tail end of August into the first day or two of September. Now, one other thing about this story is that you are finishing up Venus. You like her at the top of your sky. It makes you look good in the eyes of the world, and you might be very much reveling in the love of work or the love of your actions that everyone sees you do, your professional endeavors, or you might be seen by the world as engaging in a one-on-one relationship. This is Venus in Libra. So now you're out and about on the town. People are saying, oh, there goes Jill and John. They're that couple over there. You're seeing yourself, or others are seeing you, maybe in the light of love stories, is what I'm saying. Now, Libra, Venus, she got here, and it's good. She's in her own kingdom. She got here way back in August 6th, and will leave on September 10th and head into the next sign. So that gives you the first 10 days of September to revel in more of this. And it's quite benefic. So enjoy it. It's somehow very supportive towards you. And you might think that, well, what am I going to do with that Venus? And one thing you might want to do with that Venus is anything with legal contracts. Again, we see legal everywhere, signing on dotted lines, whether it's a rental property, an agreement with a spousal situation or whatever. It's not a bad idea to try to sign documents before the end of that time, which is the 10th of September. Use her or lose her, she's not there forever. All right. Also, at the beginning of the month, I'm going to point out right away that we have a beautiful trine between Jupiter and Saturn. And this is some very powerful discipline, hard work, and focus here, Saturn, with realistic expectations about property, land, and home, and childhood stuff, and your parents even, especially your mother, and Jupiter in the house of chunky money. Now, it can be about things to do with money that comes from an elder person, Saturn, toward you. And then I'd hear you say, well, which elder person? I have no idea. Somebody in your family of origin and transfer of wealth, legacy wealth, bequeathments, or inheritances may come here into your reality at some point of time. And it may come from a sibling of all things, because Jupiter rules your sibling house. So money exchanges and money and land and property matters connected to a sibling may be positively flowing your way in the first 4 or 5 days of September. Because as we begin September, it's already playing out. You might want to go back a couple of days, last 2 or 3 days of August, and the first 4 or 5 days of September, and see how this is feeling for you. All right, a moon is going to be happening. That moon is September the 10th, and the moon is going to be new. It's at 18 degrees of Virgo. Virgo is right here. So watch this moon come up to the moon, which makes it a new moon, right? And let's talk about a new moon in your ninth house. Ninth house stories tend to be very spiritually aligned. They're about your spiritual faith and belief. It can be a new beginning connected to foreign people and foreign lands. It's ruled by Mercury in the sign of one-on-one love. There may be a new beginning of a visible relationship connected to one-on-one love and foreign countries, but this is also legal success coming off of courts and fresh starts and new beginnings, especially if it involves spousal support here. And also with this new beginning, new moon, some of you may actually want to travel abroad, take long trips somewhere, pilgrimages, new beginnings and fresh starts. But because of Mercury's placement, also to find a new home. And somehow your new home is connected to ninth house matters. It can be a legal settlement and money to purchase a home, a court case regarding the settlement of family money and home, or maybe it's that you're going to want to be in a relationship with somebody that's not living in your country and you might be working on how to make that work. There's a lot of things that could happen here. I'm not sure which one will. This is also a sibling two older or four younger than you, and new beginnings in that relationship if that is a necessary or wanted ingredient in your life. So that new moon is there. Let's go ahead and talk about a time of around the 11th to the 17th of September, where in that window of the 11th to the 17th, we have the Sun and Mars in a sustained lockstep with each other. Not that common. And so Mars here and the Sun are keeping pace with each other. Well, it starts around the 11th, 10th, 11th, and it doesn't close out till the 17th or 18th even. And what this flow offers you between Mars and between the Sun is some ability for you to focus on things in the ninth house. Pilgrimage, foreign lands, higher education, court and legal matters. Big spotlight is up there. Sun is the ruler of your eighth house of chunky money. It may involve financial agreements. And it also is looking like Mars is allowing for this to become a very flowing story. You might be making major decisions around legal matters and life partnerships, distant shores and lands, travel, or things connected to educational agreements and contracts as well. On the next story, we see around the 12th to the 14th, Mercury gives you a happy, unexpected, surprising development that comes through as unexpected positive news or surprises. Well, Mercury is in your 10th house, very visible at the top of the sky. This is your profession and work and career space and your visible stature in the world. And here he has a surprise delivered from what I normally see as a work house, right? Job, work, service, surprise, positive, Pluto, trine, air trine, wealth, money, debts, reputation, career, job opportunity. Very powerful stuff. And so if you're in looking for employment or work, this is a yes. This is and it comes like as a surprise. You might notice because Mercury at the top of the sky is also the ruler of your work house. He's really trying to direct some unexpected turning points in the work story. And it can be also unexpected turning points in areas to do with pets, rental properties, and even your health. But because it's a trine, it should be good news. And it kind of forms a kite down here to where you live. And some of you I can see are under a lot of pressure to really retrace your steps around home and land and where you live and whom you live with. You're really going inward till December the 10th, knowing that you need to make some changes here because that's usually what Saturn will do. He's trying to relocate you somehow, somewhere over a 2 to 3 year period to a place that is more stable and enduring and where you will want to be for a longer time. Less moving, more stability here. Righty. Then on the 12th of September to about the 17th, we also see Pluto squaring Venus, and those two are here, Venus and of course Pluto. Pluto's in your speech, your money, your facial appearance, and your throat and voice and stuff like that. Mostly it's our earnings, our savings, our possessions. Pluto can bring wealth. And by the way, with that North Node joining Pluto, you're going to look at it 18 months ahead where you're going to increase your wealth significantly compared to what you had before the nodes moved into this part of the chart at the end of July. And that said, Venus starts off with an objection. She's applying to Pluto and she's saying something like, hey, what about me? And what about me? Well, Venus is in a condition of exile. Exiled friends, exiled female friends, exiled sibling one older than you in birth order. Some female energy is feeling exiled. Well, exiled is a feeling of, well, not exiled. Sorry, fallen. No, exiled. Oh my God. Sorry, it's been a long day. Exiled. She's exiled from her domicile in Taurus. So where are you dealing with some kind of powerful discontent, cathartic, regenerative renewal from somebody in your social groups? It's likely a female. Or you could be having some kind of desire quandary, because Venus rules what we want and desire. This is your Kama desire house. What do you desire to attract to you? And Mars says, how about a long-term committed love relationship? But I'm out of condition here, and I'm about separating everything that I touch, like the wheat from the chaff. And so you have a love conundrum of some kind, and it's requiring a decision. So you may be like torn between two lovers, or you may be facing some heat from a significant long-term love partner, or a friend getting in the middle of it all. Whatever this is, it has a little bit of a sort of soap opera vibe here, if I do say so myself. Now let's talk about Venus, because this square between her and Pluto could be for some intense vocal conversations, but also transformative shifts in your approach to your earnings and money. Yet we have some feeling that it's not an easy story. Venus herself in Scorpio is a little bit like the sorceress, the witch, the what do you call those women who do burlesque dancing? That's kind of the vibe here, okay? Some like it hot, that kind of thing. And so Venus is in a condition of not her best condition, and she's going to be here in this shape until, now really think about this for a minute, okay? Yeah, she's going to be in this condition all the way through till October 25th. So from September 10th to October 25th, she's moving through here, but only to the 8th degree. Capricorn sun, moon, and rising. 0 to 10 degrees. Let's go with that range. You really feel what's about to happen, because on October the 3rd, after being direct and getting to 8 Scorpio, she turns around. I've got a tip for you. Be careful what you wish for, because what you wish for, what you desire, and what you implement, because you want it, you desire it. It looks like it's about love. It could be about money, but she will turn around on October 3rd, and she will retrace her steps, and she will likely change her mind. So you're not really going to be able to make certain decisions that you think you know what you want, because by October 3rd, there's a rethinking through till October 25th, and she'll be back here again later this year for her conjunction to the sun. So there's more of that ahead. You look like you're struggling with some real desire issues, either in what you want for money, career, long-range plans and goals, or love and relationship especially. And that's because she is a trine relationship to your 7th house, where Mars is till the end of the month. September, you are literally dealing with a lot of decision making about long-term committed love or friendship relationships. All right, so otherwise, watch for some turbulence with a sibling, one above you in birth order, or possibly 3 younger than you or 3 older than you in birth order. And if the sibling's 3 younger or older than you, then there may be some transfer of wealth involved. Okay, now we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about the next story. Don't you love this stuff? Don't forget to like and subscribe and hype me and all that stuff. Thanks, guys. Um, we're going to next bring our attention to the to the really cool time in which you get a bit of bad news, hard information, hard conversation, followed by a happy ending. Okay, a silver lining. It's back to back, right after each other. So tune in. On September the 18th, Mercury will be opposite Saturn. Mercury opposite Saturn is literally what it sounds like, a tug of war. Mercury is information, conversation, and news, and Saturn is restriction, containment. This can feel extremely like a hard or difficult information exchange, news, legal contract you're trying to sort, especially if it involves property, rental or purchase, especially if it involves career matters versus your home life. That Saturn retrograde is still involved perhaps in dragging people from your past into the now, including past relationships. And now there's this hard conversation, difficult news moment in time. You're going to notice this is very active for you on the 18th of the month. Then give it a day or two on either side. And then Jupiter is like feeling bad about the problem, tries to help out. And that's going to be around the 21st of the month. So 18, 19, 21, 3 days later, along comes Jupiter. So Jupiter is going to soothe it out. If he can smooth and soothe it, he will. What does Jupiter do? Let's take a look and show you the picture. Jupiter talks to Mercury. Mercury's fine here. He's not debilitated in Libra. And he's up there speaking about balance, fairness, harmony, and peace. And then Jupiter is here, and he's saying, I agree with you. But is it fairness and balance and peace about money that is shared with another person? Money that's in investments, money that's in royalty income, money that's coming through inheritances, sale of property? Or is it not about money at all? But it can be. It can be about shared resources with a significant other and difficult money conversations that Jupiter is ready to heal and sort of find the happy solution to that in some way. So look for that difficult September 18th and a follow-up 3 days later with the silver lining solution of some kind. And you pretty well can count on Jupiter to bring it if he can. He's always working his darndest and dangdest to bring something good. He does exalt your house of committed marriage like love and business partnerships. And those are the areas where he's really apt to be able to bring something good to what is feeling like a difficult story. And he also rules your house of distant shores and far off lands. So love in a far off land or distant shore, let's fix the problem. If situations and issues with your siblings, let's fix the problem. And situations with your marriage type relationships, he's going to help work it. And Mercury and Libra, legal contracts, verbal agreements, vows, handshakes, deal making. Okay. All right. So we are going to move into the next story, which is Sun opposite Neptune around the 24th to the 26th. Well, we have also a lunation around the same time, the full Aries moon. Now, one thing I would say when the Neptune Sun energy happens, I want you to think of Neptune like a foggy, like what do you call that stuff? Dry ice, right? Halloween dry ice, ooh, misty dry ice. Everything's a little bit unclear, fogged up. Neptune's moving backwards in the house of your childhood, your mother, your wounds from that era of your life growing up, but also your home and where you live. And because he's retrograde with a retrograde Saturn, as you enter September, there's still these considerations about where you want to live. Maybe thinking of moving back to a place you've lived before is a very strong possibility. And certainly Saturn loves mountainous terrains, but also rocky shores near water. So there's a feeling, and Aries represents remote or pioneering frontier land. So you're thinking about something about where you really want to live. And this is true till December 10th. So don't rush. Don't rush. And that can involve rentals with Uranus. And as that's happening, the sun will move into your sky at the top, and it will really be a beacon of light to help declare, hey, on a clear day, you can see forever. And why you are going to move and where you are going to move may involve stories that are to do with your career, to do with what Venus is up to, your friendship circles, your career gains, and your long range dreams and goals in your life, as well as your love relationships. So there's a sense that there's like a beacon of clear light that shows you things to do with moving. Now, not everyone's going to move. And so then what changes you wish to make in your domestic life, who you live with, the way you live in your home, the why you're living in your home, and shifting that. This is the beginning of understanding and being more clear about what you want. And you'll notice, and that's because Venus is in the house of your wants and she's governing this. And you'll notice you are looking at Pluto here. This is another air trine. Pluto is like, hey guys, how about some riches and some wealth, some power and some transformation of my values? And all of this is going to point right back down to Neptune and Saturn in the house of where you live. Ultimately, it's always going back to this. Now, yeah, some of you might just be purging your ancestral line and doing soul work about your childhood and doing soul retrievals and stuff like that. But if you're not doing that, because Pluto would invite that, you're really just thinking on practical terms, things like, okay, where I want to live, work and job, career, confusion, need money, increase my wealth. All of those things are up for you at this time. And again, the window for this energy around the 23rd, 4th to the 26th is what I'm talking about. And a full moon is occurring around the 27th as well. And two things happen around the 27th. Mars gets the heck out of that pestering, difficult thing. I don't know if you were married, maybe your spouse was always shooting a water pistol in your face for the last 2 months. Maybe you felt under barrage by significant loved ones. All right, maybe you felt, what do you call it, harangued or nitpicked or henpicked or criticized, or your partner was being mean or combative. That's all I can say about that. Now, Mars gets out of there on the 28th, and that story is over. You'll get him here for quite a long time. You may as well enjoy it. So September 27th, usually it's about separation of assets, money, looking at ways to parse your chunks of unearned income and shared resources, and putting a lot of focus on those things. To some degree, some people have sexual intimacy in this part of the chart, and there might be a bit of passion, but he doesn't really ever hook up to that exiled Venus. So there's delay, or there's something that doesn't quite hit the mark. You know what I mean? So passion is not quite getting sparked properly at this time. He would try for that in a square to Venus, too hot to handle, high sexual chemistry, but it's like falling flat for some reason. And you might notice that around this time, the 28th of September through until, come on, Mars, until November the 25th, it's like getting sexy time going is a little bit iffy. And I wouldn't even say it's that long, but it's at least until Venus is also there. So we have Venus there till October 25th. So yeah, let's go with that. September the 28th to October the 25th. Look for some difficult sexual relationship energy of some kind, most likely. Now, I want to mention one more thing. I want to talk about the moon in Aries. Moon is going to be in the fourth house, and it is a full light. I want you to go back to around April 17th, because that's when you planted a seed here. And the seed might be a very specific type of seed. I want to seed a change in my home life, a new home, a second home, a change in the people with whom I live, a change of my relationship to my childhood stories. But you planted a seed in mid-April. That was the 17th. That new moon seed was unfolding its wings, trying to sprout something new in your life. And now we have, instead of that, we have a full light down here. And that full light is like a spotlight. It reveals what you don't normally see. And so now you can see more clearly, again, on a clear day. The sun says the same thing. You can see more clearly where it is you might want to live. Let's take the moon back to show you. Whoa. Sorry about that. I lost your sign. We'll get you back. There we go. So watch the moon. Let's get the moon in the right place. And I'm on September 28th. I'm going to go back a day. Now the moon will be at 3 degrees of Aries. Okay, just trust me on that. On the 27th or 26th. The 26th. So on the 26th, the moon is down here. Neptune and Saturn, make your dreams real. A full light showing you how to make your dreams real, about where you wish to live, whom you wish to live with. Moon rules spouse in your chart. I don't think you're going to live with your business partner, right? So a lot of this clarity is about spousal or committed love relationship choices connected to domicile. And this is what you want to see clearly, because the fog banks are being pulled back thanks to Neptune, and Saturn is the ultimate realist. But because they're both retrograde, these are people from your past. If you're moving back to a relationship, the moon is getting wedged between these two, and therefore it can also be past relationships and dealing with situations regarding those relationships. Now, my feeling is that you've had time to go back. So since the end of July through, this is through till December 10th, this moon is inviting you to have clarity about where you wish to reside. And once we get Mars in Leo, then a lot of that begins to move forward as he flows into this part of your sky. And this makes it kind of like a beautiful ninth house from the Mars story. And that can be, you want to move to another country, or you want to move into a placement that's a place that's in alignment with your highest purpose or your true direction in life. But you're definitely having flow from Mars, is what I'm saying. Okay, and last but not least, and we're going to be done, the end of the month serves up a delicious platter of a trine between the Sun, Uranus, and Pluto, just like Mercury did between the 12th and the 14th. And this is like liftoff, as I've mentioned already, but also Mars is so liftoff in home, domicile, rental. But Mars is also opposite Pluto. We never really feel comfortable when this happens. We all scratch our head and go, what the F? But it is going to be a bit of a challenge, because it does also T-square for a day, September 28th, the exalted moon in your fifth house. It could be really intense relationship energy and sexual romantic partnerships, big battles of trust, values, betrayal, abandonment issues, maybe infidelity questions, and also children and stress there, especially around money and your children. It's a day in the life of you. It probably is like just on the 28th of the month. You might notice that flashpoint and pay attention. And don't forget, you've got Saturn retrograding till April, back as of September the 17th into your fourth house of home and property and land. And this is because you had a chironic wound since 2019 about domicile, home, purpose in the home, where to live. And FYI, he did spend June 19th to September 17th in your fifth house of sex and romance and children, and you may have felt some woundology in the part of your life as well. All right, thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Hello, Astro Curious Soul. This is your overview of Sky Reader, and I want to tell you a bit about the program. I'm going to show you the website that I'm hosting it at, mylaurilothian.com. I want to share a bit about my excitement for this course and why I think it might be right for you. First of all, if you're one of those people who watches all of my videos and then ask me these very intelligent questions in the comments all of the time about why this and why that and how this and how that, then you're probably already ready for this course, because it is your curiosity about how to read the sky. That is what Sky Reader is for. Astrology is about the map of time. It's so simple. It's like a GPS of time. And once you learn the basic language of your natal chart, then you'll learn some easy to use timing tools that even a beginner can learn with me. You're going to begin to navigate your reality with a better flow, a better ease, a better kind of sense that you know how to move through the world in a way that has your best interest at heart, because you're flowing with the things that are happening anyway. You're moving in the direction that the sky is taking you. So instead of resisting, instead of digging your heels in, or even going in a misdirection temporarily, the universe always course corrects. You can move wholeheartedly with great faith in the universe into the path that the sky is opening for you. Now, life is full of ups and downs, and astrology can't take those away. So even learning to read your sky doesn't mean you learn to avoid any of life's normal storylines. It means that you know how have your eye on the ball, you have your heads up of timing your best life. And sometimes timing your best life is nothing more than being able to navigate what you can see coming and respond to it in a more mature, aware, and present way. You know, I had this big calamity happen a while ago, and I could see that I was being grabbed by the sky. And this interpersonal difficulty wasn't just about the other person. It was about the sky playing out in the real world, real-time sky, relative to my personal Aquarius rising natal chart. And because I realized it was just the sky playing out, I was able not to become interacting with the ordeal in a reactive way. So there's a lot of really good ways you can use astrology to do your life better. A lot of my students come back every single year. If you take my class once, you get to take it again and again forever. Plus, you get to keep the content as well and upgrade yourself. And when you come back as a student for the second time, it is 75% off, which is incredibly amazing, given that each time there's new content and new guest teachers, as well as, of course, me teaching you to read your own sky and time your best life. So this is the website, laurilothian.com/sky-reader, if you want to find that way, or just Google laurilothian.com and Sky Reader, and you'll find this page usually showing up in the search engine. Now, throughout the month of August, we have our early bird discount rate of $397. The course is $555, and that is actually a deal for the 7 weeks with me, plus the live calls and the Q&As, plus moderating staff, teaching staff helping me, and a Facebook group and a Discord group this year as well. Now, read your own sky, 7-week foundation. Here you go. I'm not going to redo this. This is a little video of me explaining it to you that's already uploaded to the website. Now, you can do monthly installments in payment plans if you need to, if money is any issue for you. For those of you in really deep need, like, you know what I mean, like needs-based tuition kind of discounts, you'll have to reach out to my team, and you'll see that the information for that will be available here on the website, but it would be hello@inbox.laurilothian.com. But really, the course is already well priced. So here we have me with a funny picture of me. Thanks, team. I love it. I look like I'm very happy, and I'm wearing white. Isn't that sweet? And then one of the things I will show you about, not the whole sales page, is what the program is actually about. So here's some of the outline of the actual material. As you can see, we have what I call the big four. You're going to learn about the most. This is the second class. The first one is your absolutely slow start, super kindergarten hand-holding level to introduce you to the very basic tenets of how to read a sky, what the sky looks like, and what the ingredients of the sky are made out of. So that's your overview course. Some of you may not need that. Some of you may have been well established in astrology already, and for you this will be extremely boring. But everyone who knows me knows that I think that the foundations in a beginning class, just understanding the language right away, is going to be crucial. You're learning a new language like French or Greek or whatever, and you're not going to get it all at once. It's going to take time, just like osmosis, like more exposure to it. So this is our week one, slow start overview. And then we move into the course itself. You can go to the website and click the details, the big four of the 12 houses, planetary dignity, planets and aspects, time lords, helmsmen, and annual profections. Now, this last part of the course, this is your golden ticket to success. You might think you know about, for example, annual profections. Well, I've been teaching annual profections for years, and I've got some insider trading tips there for you about how to use it in a way you may not have heard of before. And it's so easy to use that you could teach your kids and children and, friends and fam to use it once you get the lay of that land. And solar returns, of course, the birthday chart. Everyone loves their birthday chart. It gives you a whole snapshot of everything that happens at a given age. Again, I've taught this class many times, and I've also done this for clients for 7 or 8 years, and you'll be learning a few things you won't find anywhere else about how to read that solar return chart and understand what happens in the year. Everything about this course leads to how to time your life. This is not a course that's teaching you how to navel gaze. I'm not here to show you the quirks of your personality in the simulation called life. I'm not here to help you navigate your past and talk about why it happened. Those are not the courses we're teaching. We're teaching you how to read the sky so you can use the GPS metric of the sky, astrology as a map of time to time your best life. So this is a course that teaches you to become an forecaster or a navigator of reality in a more successful way. So reminding you of that. I get people in this class who want to talk about my Chiron, or my Pluto. And I'm like, nah, no, we don't do that. This is not going to dive into your archetypal, character in the simulation, your wounds and stuff like that. We're learning to teach you how to time your life in this particular class. All right. Now, this is my 7th year teaching, as a lot of you know, so I've gotten to know a lot of the issues that come up, and that was just one of those issues that is routinely showing up. We have 7 core classes. We have 28 actual sessions. We have teaching team Q&A plus me on my own Q&A. So you've got a couple Q&As to choose from per week. We change the time. So everywhere in the world, you'll probably be able to make one. Everything I do has a course replay. Everything I do is loaded into the teaching platform for you to keep forever. If you can't make the live classes, if you can't make any of the Q&As, you can still come and learn from me. However, I'm not reselling this course. I have never resold this course as a self-study. So if you really want to jump in, this would be your chance. These are, and I always say I may not teach it next year. It's always possible with 2 books in my on the shelf to finish, 2 books to finish, one astrology, one spiritual awakening, and actually one fiction book. I would like to get those written in the next year. So just be aware of that. This can be an introduction to my next course next year, Map Maker, and also Code Breaker. In other words, this would give you the basic understanding to jump into my more intensive and more advanced courses next year. Now, I have guest workshops every year. Last year, I had 4 teachers. Now I have 6. This is just bonus content. This is just extra material for you to enjoy. So we begin on October 1st. Every Thursday, we have guest teachers. And I will see if I can figure out where on my website that my team put that. But just so you know, those guest workshops will teach you some very fundamental, fun things to do in astrology. So here we have it. 6 ways to see where it can lead. Lovely, lovely team headlines here. So one of my colleagues and students, former students, Sinette Caldwell Barr, is doing the 4 I always can't say this word, Purusharthas, and this is a great tool of understanding where your purpose, your prosperity, your spiritual liberation, and your pleasure and your money stuff lie in your chart. So I think you'll enjoy that. It's easy to learn. It's very powerful, and it really does help you see how to navigate life. Mel is going to be teaching where in the world you might want to live or travel based on astrology and how you can look at your astrocartography chart. And we'll also have Laura Basseni teaching about the Cosmic Wellness Blueprint. She is a health coach, but also a medically trained astrologer, like medical astrology. And you'll learn some basics about finding your own energetic, elemental, and modality elements for better health and wellness, and also prevention, I suppose. Donnie Lim, my colleague, who's very much an expert on all things Venus. You guys may have seen him on my channel with me doing world astrology. He's really fun to hang with. Is teaching the divine feminine cycles for timing, okay? Divine feminine cycles and timing. And so he'll be taking you down the Venus conversation road for her cycles and how to use that in your life for all ways to move forward, especially with love and pleasure and desire and money. Justin McClure is an electional astrology teacher today for us in our course, and he will teach you how to choose the best time to launch your business, make that phone call, hire that lawyer, whatever, get married, etc. Electional astrology teaches you some of the basic understanding that when you begin something, then you set in motion that thing forever. In other words, it bears like a birth chart stamp. So knowing when to launch something into motion is important. It's funny, a lot of us astrologers on YouTube do this all the time. When we want to do something big and splashy or promote something, we'll look for a very good sky and a very good time of day in that sky to put it out for you guys on YouTube. So you'll also notice all of a sudden every astrologer is emailing you on the same day. A lot of us are using electional times. Tara and Renee will be teaching us the cosmic magic of numerology when you blend it with astrology. I love this combination. I've been doing this for myself for years. So if you want to learn how to illuminate your reality by making these two pieces of the real estate, numerology and astrology, two occult disciplines come together, that's your ticket to fun. All of these courses on Thursday evenings, okay, at 6 p.m. Pacific time, are available for you for replay and self-study, and you get to keep them forever. But if you attend live, of course, you can ask questions for the teacher and be engaged in a live learning process. Now, just alone, these courses would be easily costing a couple $100 for 6 courses. So you can see what a deal Sky Reader really is. We come together every single Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Adjust for your time in Europe. Usually you guys are 8 hours difference than we are in Pacific time, but ask Siri, Google, or timeanddate.com, etc. So you know exactly when we're coming together. And here we have a lovely little schedule drawn up of all of the times for everything to happen. You could just take a look at that by going to the website, screenshot it or whatever, but there you are. So we may not repeat this live edition. I always say that. You always never believe me, but there will be a point, 7th year teaching, you get the 7-year itch, which is a Saturn cycle, that I may have to take a break in order to write some of these books that I need to get done or that I want to get done. So go ahead, Facebook group, Discord group. It's not where I'm monitoring your homework, but you do get homework. It's where you got collaboration and support from my moderators, encouragement. You can tag me or my moderators for help, but I'm not there checking your homework like you're being certified by me to become an astrologer, but it is a very useful group. Other students ahead of you or former students will probably be there. People help each other when you're confused, and my moderators will also be astrologers who are also supporting you when you have questions about what you're doing. Nobody in this course is doing the work for you. You do get homework. It's totally optional. It's to practice the methods you're learning as you learn them. All right, so here we have it. We're at the end of it. These are some great people who decided, my students, to give me some wonderful testimonials over the years in the various classes I've taught. You're seeing a lot of my last class group, the Divine Timing Masterclass. Give me some commentary there, but Sky Reader, people come back every year to do it over and over again because it actually is a lot of fun. So I hope some of you will consider joining me, and I am so excited. We have a nice little gathering of 29 countries and 325 students already signed up, and we are well supported to make sure that you have a good time and that you don't get lost as you go along. I do have staff, I have teaching assistants, but it is me in that Zoom room for 2 hours. It usually ends up being 2 hours every single Saturday. And I'm also available in one of the weekly Q&As of the 2 each week. All right. Thanks, guys. Don't forget, this is just an overview. Hopefully it gives you some lay of the land. Go to LoriLothian.com/sky-reader.
Lunatic Astrology.